February 5th, 2015. Overkill decided to do one of their biggest community events yet, the Hype Train. From the aforementioned date to March 12th, players were asked to spend their cold hard cash on previous DLCs and new releases to generate hype fuel. In exchange, players got new content like free weapon mods, the side job feature, and a new playable character. Since all of this content was already made before the event started, Overkill needed a solution. How do you make sure that your player base is happy and well fed with new content, whilst also having your staff sufficiently paid? Well, they found a solution. This was the Completely Overkill Pack. Released March 12th, 2015, the Completely Overkill Pack was the 18th DLC for Payday 2, and was the first cosmetic-focused DLC pack, and would be the only cosmetic-focused paid pack until November 2019. It came with 4 masks, and a promise of a secret cosmetic option that would be released later down the line. Rather than covering the content in a traditional way, because let's be real, it would only get a 4, I'll be covering everything the DLC had to offer, both the actual content, the eventual backlash, and the addition of one of the most hated gaming practices of the mid-2010s. Initially, the DLC came with 4 masks, all being mega masks based on the core 4 heisters. To explain further on what I mentioned in the Jacket Character Pack, Mega Masks are versions of previously released masks with special glowing effects. Currently in the game, there are 21 Mega Masks that can be obtained through achievements, with 2 additional masks obtained through giveaways or donating to charity. We have Mega Dallas, Mega Chains, Mega Wolf, and Mega Houston. They're pretty cool, I'm not denying that. However, that begs another question. How much was this DLC at launch? 20 fucking big ones. $20. Or $14.99 if you're a Brit, for 4 masks. This is around the same price as one of those post-White House DLC bundles, nearly the same price as the pre-price hike Infamous collection on a sale. People, understandably, were annoyed at this. But it was understandable from a business standpoint too. The DLC was marketed as a way for players to help Overkill and to assure the content promised in the Hype Train would actually come. You needed 2 million hype fuel. Every purchase added 14 gallons to the total and was limited to 50,000 units. So, doing some simple math, 14 gallons times 50,000 players, you get 700,000 gallons of fuel. And let's assume the players who bought this also bought the other Overkill pack, the Butcher's mod pack, and pre-ordered Hotline Miami 2 Special Edition. That would bring you to a total of 1,750,000 gallons of fuel, which would give you everything minus the last tier of the Hype Train. Granted, if you had to buy everything in today's money, minus any hypothetical discounts or price hikes to the CEO pack, that would cost you £36.52 or $44.47. But that's excluding the promise of a free cosmetic for everyone who bought the pack. Certainly that would be worth it, right? September 28th, 2015. The road to Crimefest was underway, another community-wide challenge with the promise of rewards, but luckily these weren't tied to spending your hard-earned cash. Of course, being the passionate community that was, the player base managed to endure some of the most grueling challenges and ended up unlocking everything, including the final reward, labelled the safest of safes. October 15th, 2015. Day 1 of Crimefest rolls around, and what was the reward for players who worked oh so hard? The worst practice that modern gaming created. Pay-to-win loot boxes. As of the post-White House launch, these no longer exist, and longer since that have pay-to-win skins had their stat boosts removed and put on every weapon. But even with years of hindsight, this was a bad idea. Cut to November 13th, 2015. The owners of the Completely Overkill pack finally got their long-promised free cosmetic. A single safe and drill. 1 skin. Not all 25, just 1 skin that might be incredibly bad quality or downright ugly. Now, true, owners of the Completely Overkill pack get the required DLC to use every skin in that safe, which doing the calculations means you've doubled the value of the pack. But considering that every owner was around during the Hype Train event, they most likely already had all the DLC by that point in the game. If they were willing to fork over $20 for 4 masks, they were likely to get every other DLC, both previously released and releasing in the future. People, understandably, were absolutely fuming at this. I would be too if I wanted one of the 3 legendary skins and got one for a pistol that feels like spitting at my enemies. Speaking of, see this? This is the Gimp, the legendary skin for the Vulcan. Do you want to know how many of these exist in the entire player base? Keep in mind, by the way, 50,000 players bought the DLC, so there must be one, right? Wrong. This weapon doesn't exist outside of this screen. 50,000 chances, and not one was ever unboxed. So, Overkill had to improvise, and over the course of 2016, they updated the DLC. Update 1 came February 26th, and were based on some of the popular masks that players wore. We have Mega Deathwish, Mega Kawaii, Mega Cthulhu, Mega Plague Doctor, and Mega Kevin. They look good. I do find Mega Deathwish redundant considering that the original Deathwish was already Mega Mask material, and the Death Sentence mask is already a cooler version, but, you know, the rest are at least cool. The second update came June 24th. By now, Update 100 fixed the safes, meaning you no longer needed to buy a drill to open them, which was a nice addition, but the damage was already done. We have Mega Gauge Blade, Mega Dr. Crime, Mega Mark, Mega Watcher, and Mega Grin. Again, they look good. However, there's something about the existence of the Mega Grin that unnerves me, especially released after the microtransactions were removed. It's like Mr. Your Opinion, My Choice was trying to get the last laugh. So, after 14 masks, a shitty drill, and a broken promise, are you missing out? Was the completely Overkill pack worth it? No. Absolutely not. As a way to support the devs, there are better ways to do it. Adding a single mask pack that costs the same as a DLC bundle is not. And as proven with the post-White House DLC, paint jobs and brand new outfits are how you properly sell cosmetic, without making your player base want to tear your throat out. This video was released alongside the one for the Overkill pack, a more traditional DLC review. It'll be linked in the description. Next time, we'll be setting the Flames of Love to 451 with the Butcher's Barbecue pack, and I hope to see you there. Take care, and have a good one.